Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Let's Play, we're going to take a look at Schwarm, Confront the Queen of the Skies, a solitaire game from Mark Aasted and Jeremy White, published by LPS, the same guys who do Against the Odds magazine. This is just going to be a tutorial slash complete playthrough slash review all rolled into one. It's a super quick playing solitaire game, comes in a little Ziploc bag. I have a unbagging for you guys if you haven't taken a look at that yet. Super simple, but I'll just describe everything as I go and kind of give you my final thoughts at the end. So let's have a little fun with it. So, doing the setup right now, I got the board set up here to describe everything. We have different hit markers. The hit markers all start here. I have them lined up here just because I think it keeps it from just having one big stack of markers. You already understand anything here is going to basically be there at 0. Tactical points here we start at 5. Those are what we use to send pairs of fighters. The Germans, and I have a manual here, called them Rot. A Rot, or Rot, I assume it's Rot, is basically 2 fighters, a leader and a wingman. And you're going to send them, each one's going to send 2 fighters, a Rot, and they're going to attack. You get to pick where they are attacking from. You can see it's kind of like the clock, right? 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, etc. And it is down here. You may be able to see that. Depends on how well the camera's working today. You can see, and then low, level flight, or high. So, 12 o'clock high, or, 5 o'clock low, etc. We're placing our fighters. We have to possibly worry about the sun, where it's located, in comparison. And then the B-17, right there, defending itself, is going to have a top turret and then a ball turret that can hit down low. So, when we are setting up the game, we get to pick. We can either use BF-109s or Focke-Wulf 190s. I went ahead and just picked the BF-109, so you already get a little bit of the kind of compare, different gameplay-wise. You get to pick what kind of fighters you want to send against the B-17. So let's go ahead and start off. We have everything kind of set up here. Now we'll set up the actual playing pieces. The B-17 in the kind of the regular mode, you start off with damage. It says if you want a little bit of a harder game, you can not do any damage to it. I find the game is plenty difficult enough, so I go ahead and just roll for damage. So, start off with, roll 1d10, and we're going to use d10s here. You can see we have a red and a black die. Roll a 10, which you can see the damage chart here, 1 tail damage. So we go ahead and find tail. So tail hit marker, go ahead and put it on the 1. Now, one thing I want to mention, see the chart down here, it'll say something like cockpit hits. If you get 2 cockpit hits, the B-17 is destroyed. Tail hits, if you get 3, it's destroyed. Engine hits 4. And then the hardest one is the fuselage can take up to 6 hits. Well, it takes 5. 6 hits will destroy it. So, looking at this now, and what we're going to do is we also randomize where, a couple things, where each turret is. One starts in the zone, front zone, right zone, left zone, rear zone. It's written right here. So it looks like we're going to have the ball turret's going to start in the front zone. And we'll get into that as we play. And the top turret will start back here in the rear zone. Now let's roll for the sun. And we're looking for the little yellow numbers here. Roll a 1. So, boom. So it's at, what is this? 11 o'clock high is where the sun will be. So, if this applies, if we were attacking from the opposite direction, so we're attacking from 5 o'clock, we'd actually be looking into the sun and we get a negative die roll modifier. All right. Go ahead and start placing our fighters. So for the very first pass, we get 2 for free. And you pick them randomly out of the cup here because they actually have different numbers on the back. And I'll explain those when we get to them. Go ahead and pick 2 of them. Again, pick randomly. And the two you get for free, 1 Rot. And then, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, my apologies. Sorry. For the tactical points, you can spend 1 tactical point to get an additional Rot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So lower it down to 4. So we're getting an additional 2 of them. All right. Now we have to go ahead and start placing them for the first pass here. What I'm looking at is we already have tail hits, or 1 tail hit, I should say. And we only need to get to 3 to actually destroy the B-17s. I say we focus on the tail hit. Now, depending on where you are, and attacking the B-17, you're more or less likely to hit certain areas. If you're attacking from the front, you're not really going to get a whole lot of tail hits. Versus, as you can see on the damage charts here in the back, you're going to get tail hits. All of these right here. So, what we're going to do, go ahead and focus on the back here. There is going to be a turret, so it's going to definitely target us, but that's going to happen for the most part. Most passes anyway, you're going to have at least one, maybe both turrets targeting your fighters. So, we'll go ahead and place one at 6 o'clock high. Right here. And as soon as we do that, because this turret is in the same zone, he's going to go ahead and lock on to him. So place him right there. And each rote has to be in the same zone. So in this case, we're looking at the rear zone here. But in all honesty, both rotes are going to go to the rear zone, all of our fighters, because, well, we're trying to hit the tail, and it's kind of the best chance. We also get a lot of good modifiers, and we'll talk about those when we get to the combat itself. So the other one we'll place right on top there. Let's go ahead and do one over here and one over here. All right, so we have all of our fighters coming in, attacking the B-17 from the tail. Maybe they notice that the tail, got some damage on it. There's smoke coming from it, something like that. So they say, hey, we're going to attack it where it's weakest. So that's what we're going to do. All right, now that we've placed all of our fighters, we do a position check, which we check each fighter. We're going to roll to see if it shifts its position. Basically, our intention, right, is to attack from here. But depending on, wind, depending on other factors we can't see that are abstracted out of the game, depending on how the B-17 is trying to avoid our fire, etc. We may have to actually shift in what area we're attacking from and what zone. So let's go ahead and start here on the right and work our way over to the left. So with this BF-109, what we're doing is we are rolling to check against the inertia value, and I'll explain. So we just roll a 1d10. All right, we got a 7, so not great. We want lower. We want lower. So the inertia value, if you notice right up, there's these black dots close, like under 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, etc. So where he is at 5 o'clock, we roll a 7, there's 3 dots. So what happens is you actually are shifting towards the rear of the B-17, depending on where you are. So in this case, if you roll and you look at the inertia value here, if the number is higher than, you have to spend the inertia points and then move away from that zone towards the rear. So right now we're at 5 o'clock high. It's a 3. We rolled a 7, which means we spend 3. So we're down to 4 points, and we have to move here. So we could move to 6 o'clock high. And then what would happen is if it continues in the direction, assuming that we have more points to spend. But because we spent 3 out of 7, we only have 4 left. And if you can tell, and it is pretty small, so you might not be able to tell on the camera, there's 5 dots there, 5 inertia points. Therefore, it's higher than the 4 we have left, so we're actually going to go ahead and stay. In addition, we started at 5 o'clock high. We're going to stay at high because we only shifted one zone, or one area. If we shift 2 or 3 of the clock arcs, and that's what that is, clock arcs. So an area is each of these, a zone is like rear, each one of these is a clock arc. Because we shifted 1 clock arc, we get to stay at high. If we had shifted 2 or 3, we'd have to drop down to level. If we had shifted 4, we'd have to drop all the way to low. Basically, lose speed, lose altitude style. But we get to go ahead and stay at high here. So we'll kind of set him to the side to show that we've already done him. So we'll go ahead and roll for both other BF-109s. Rolled a 1, that's perfect. We get to go ahead and stay where we are. So this top one, he gets to go ahead and stay at 6 o'clock high. Because remember, 1 inertia point, that's less than the 5, so we don't have to spend any. We can't spend any to move. And then for the last BF-109, rolls a 1 as well. Perfect, so he stays there also. So what's going to happen is, and actually, I'll explain when we get to the combat. So they both stay at 12 o'clock high, or 6 o'clock high, excuse me. All 3 of us, actually. And now we'll go ahead and roll for this BF-109. A 1, all right, so he stays where he is as well at 7 o'clock high. All right. So now what we'll do is we go to the tactical adjustments, which is where we can spend tactical points to move our fighters around. I'm happy with where they are. I think they're in a good spot. So we're going to leave them. We could move them laterally. We can change their altitude. We're going to leave them where they are. Turret adjustment, though. So we do have this turret here is locked on. I kind of like to mark it like this. So we're going to go ahead and leave him there. But we have this turret up here, the ball turret. It's up in the front zone. It clearly wants to try to get towards the fighters. Now, it's only going to shift 1, so it's not going to be able to attack us at all. But we go ahead and just roll. Odds, it'll shift clockwise. even clockwise, odds counterclockwise. We rolled odds, so it'll shift counterclockwise, so it'll just shift over to the left zone over here. It's not going to be able to attack us because it's in the left zone, but it is shifting closer to us. Basically, it's like assuming that they're going to try to attack us. So now we are done with the turret adjustment. Now we go to regular combat. What we're going to do, let's do this one first. So this is BF 109. You flip it over, and you look at the numbers here on the back of the counter, and then you look at the numbers written here. You can add them up here. So it's 3 and 3 is 6. 3 and 1 is 4. Red numbers are bad. Black numbers are good. Black numbers are our fire. That is our attack. The red number is the defensive fire we're taking, abstracted out, right? Like, yes, we have the different counters for, you know, the 2 turrets, but in reality, we're taking some sort of fire, and we're in danger no matter what. So what we do, we go ahead and roll. Not a good roll at all. So 1, 5. Remember, black is good. Black is for us. So 3, 3, and a 1 means we rolled a 7. You have to, now if you look at the die roll damage, minimum of 10, and that goes for all of them. You have to roll a minimum of a 10 to cause any damage. So this fighter causes no damage. Now what we want to do, though, is we want to look at our defensive fire. Defensive fire coming after us. Rolled 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew, just dodge that. If we had rolled a 10 or higher, we would have been destroyed. If our fighter is destroyed, if any fighter is destroyed, you automatically lose. But what you can do is, for like a last-ditch effort, you can spend a tactical point to, what do they, I forget exactly what they call it, wave it off, or, let's see here, let me look at the one to abort it, I guess, just abort your attack maybe. Basically, that's to avoid actually getting, break off, yeah, I guess, okay, so last-minute break off. Fortunately for us, we weren't hit, so we don't have to worry about it, but we didn't cause any damage either. So you go ahead and you actually take the fighter and you put him back in the draw cup. Now let's try the top one here. And what we'll do is the bottom 2 will be resolved together, but you only do 2 together that are in the exact same, use the right term here, the exact same space. Even though he's in the same space, he's not part of that rote. Remember, there's the 2, so he's at a different rote. So we're going to go ahead and just flip him over. Kind of move these guys out of the way. So it's 4, 4, and 2, 1. Let's go ahead and roll. I actually generally like to attack. Oh, it's a horrible roll. And I generally like to track the defensive fire first, because that determines whether you are allowed to attack or are going to have to do a break off. Which 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 6, 11. So this fighter would be destroyed. But what we're going to do is we're going to spend one of our tactical points, and now he breaks off. So no matter what we would have rolled for the attacks, even if we had rolled high enough, you know, to say 9 plus 4 plus 2, we would have got a hit, and we would have rolled for, or we would not. We would have determined what the damage was. We broke off our attack, so no matter what, that is ignored, and we just break off and, you know, whatever. So we'll go ahead and put him back in the cup. Now we'll resolve this rote's attack. Now this one will be interesting, because here's what we do is, so we will flip them both over, and what we do is we actually use the best attack for both of them. In this case, the 4. So it's going to be 4 plus 4, 8 plus the die roll for both of them. All right. But we do have to roll against them. In addition to the 4 here for high and whatever we roll, you can notice on the actual top turret here, it has level and high. We're at high. It's -1 to our attack. That number really should be black, but I assume because you wouldn't be able to really read it, they've made it white. And then +1 die roll modifier red. So +1 against us, -1 to our roll. So let's go ahead and start rolling, see what happens. So we'll roll for the 3 fighter here, which is actually a 4, right? Because we use the best black number. All right, 5 and 7. Okay, so like I said, we'll do defensive first. So 7 plus 0 plus the 4 puts it 11, plus 1 puts it 12. So unfortunately, we're going to have to spend a tactical point to break off our attack. Get out of there. So ignore the actual, we're not even going to calculate the attack because it doesn't matter. Now we'll roll for the other fighter. These dice are about to be purged. These are the worst dice I've ever seen. Okay, so again, 6, 4, 1. Already is too much. We have to spend a tactical point to abort our attack. And I'm about to get rid of these dice. These dice are horrible. Okay, so that was the first pass. Everything the turrets have is go back to their spray side. Because, I mean, I flipped them over to the targeted side, spray side. Okay. Now what we'll do is we can do enough more passes if we have tactical points. We have 1 tactical point left. So go ahead and spend it. So we're down to 0. So we basically have to destroy the B-17 this, like, turn with this pass. So we get 1 tactical point, which means we get 2 fighters. Wait, one of the rotes. So go ahead and randomly draw 2 of them. All right. And we're still looking to get some tail hits, I'd say. We would have to get 2 hits to destroy it. So, not good. It's going to be real tough. But we'll do what we can. So what we'll do is we'll put them at 6 o'clock high again. As soon as we place one, that top turret is going to go ahead and target us. And we'll put the other one on 6 o'clock high as well. All right, now we do have to roll for the inertia to see if... or the position check, excuse me. Let's roll for that top BF-109, top fighter. All right, an 8. We're looking at the inertia there. It's 3, 4, 5. So we do have more than the inertia value. Therefore, we're going to have to rotate one way or the other. So let's determine whether we're rotating counterclockwise or clockwise. Odd is counterclockwise, so we're going to rotate this way. And then it was 8, right? And so we spent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are, boom, we rotate 1 over. Clock arc, and we just stay at, we do not have to move again, thankfully. So we'll go ahead and stay at the 5 o'clock high. All right, now we'll check for the bottom fighter. A 2, so he goes ahead and stays where he is right now. All right, now we can look at this turret here. It's going to continue towards us, right? It wants to. However, this ball turret, it's the bottom ball turret. On the bomber. Therefore, and it says level and low. Well, we're both at high. Both my fighters at high altitude. So it can't actually hit us at all. So it does rotate into that zone, but it's not going to be able to hit us at all. All right, let's go ahead and do our last little bit of combat here. So this BF-109, let's flip this bad boy over and see. Ooh, that could be a good one here. So 4 and 3. Go ahead and roll. Boom. So 6 and 2. So we check our defense. Or the defensive fire from the bomber, a 3 and a 2, total of 5, so we're good there. Remember, 10 hits us. And we rolled 6, plus 4, plus 3, total of 13, which we look down at the damage. So 10 or higher, we got a hit. Look at damage, 13 is fuselage. Oh, bummer. So the fuselage, the fuselage marker, just grab the hit and put it on the 1. All right, so we would have needed, because what are we trying to hit? We're trying to hit the tail, right? We would have needed 16 plus to hit the tail over here. Okay, fair enough. All right, go ahead and remove him. And now the last fighter here, we'll go ahead and check. Let's roll for him as we flip it over. All right, so if we look at the defensive fire, it's a 7, 0, 4. It's 11 plus 1 for the turret. That puts it at 12. So he destroys us because we don't have any tactical points left to abort the attack, to break off at the last minute, so we are destroyed. What would we have gotten, though? So, and game over. What would we have gotten, though, if we hadn't been destroyed? A 10. 0 is 10 in this game. So 10 plus 3, 13, 4, 17. A tail hit. Oh, man. So if the tail hit would have been up to 2. And still would have destroyed it, but it would have been 1 away if that other one had been a hit over here. So, all right. So our last fighter is shot down. Plus, we ran out of tactical points. So regardless, B-17... escapes back to the Allied bases, and the war continues and not in our favor. So, all right, that is Schwarm. As you can tell, super fast playing, super quick solitaire game. This is the one that is, one of those games you just play a bunch of times in a row. We covered that a bit with what's that last game I filmed a video for you guys for? Firebase Vietnam. Same vibe, right? Super small footprint. Really nice counters, though. So, like the counters and the components. I mean, the map is fine. This is more of just sort of, it does its job, right? Nothing to write home about. But counters are super cool. I love the fact that it's these big counters, nice artwork. A lot of replayability for a couple of reasons. One, oops, wrong ones. you have different types of fighters, right? And then they have different numbers on back, like different ratings overall. So BF 109s, Focke-Wulf 190s. In addition, there's some rules with like the Focke-Wulf 190 not being as good at high altitude, which if you know about, fighter aircraft in World War II, that's, that was a thing. A lot of replayability because, you pick where you're attacking, you choose kind of what you want to target. Obviously, you can't pick exactly because, hey, you don't know where your fighter's going to end up and how you're going to roll. But you're picking, okay, like I had some tail hit. I had a tail hit already, so I was focusing on the rear. But I've also had games because you only need 2 cockpit hits to destroy a B-17 in this game. So I was sending fighters from the front to try to get cockpit hits. Easier said than done, right? So difficult game to win, difficult to actually shoot down the B-17. That's why I just play with the where it does, you start off with damage to it. But other than that, fun, quick little playing game. It comes with one of the Against the Odds magazines. I cannot remember. Is it number 34 maybe? But that's still for sale, I believe, on the Against the Odds website. And also, you can buy this by itself. So, first off, thanks to LPS and the guys over there, Stephen Rawling, for sending me this game to check out, and a whole pack of a bunch of random games. So really appreciate that. Appreciate being able to show them off to you guys. And also, you guys, thank you for watching my video. If you made it this far, please, if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and, just subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It just helps me to get more games, helps me to show off more games to you guys. You guys can see them in action. So let me know below if you want to see another quick playthrough of this. I know it's super quick, but that's kind of how the game is. And that's cool, though. I like it about that, right? This doesn't have to be an in-depth game. We've got, we've got Target for Today. We've got B-17 Queen of the Skies. Like, right, we've got those games out there that we can go in-depth on flying a B-17. This, you get to try to shoot it down, or even Interceptor Race is another one that I absolutely love. You guys know I love that one from Compass Games. That is, you trying to shoot down B-17s and other bombers. Very in-depth. This one, quick little playing game, has a fun little rules, super simple. I mean, it's 2 pages of rules, super simple to start playing. So, can't think of anything else. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment below if you did. Until then, talk to you guys next time. Later.